think we was doing a little bit of platform work. And I would like to continue to talk about that and have it go into little groups, because platform work is a different story to private sittings. And, even though I always have the same approach, make it as simple as possible, because there is nothing worse for a medium than drop a contact. At least for me, it haunts me forever. So if I have to drop a contact, I can count them on my 10 fingers over the years I've been working, how seldom I've done that, because it's too devastating for me when that happens. So by doing that, I am making sure I'm establishing my contact within a few seconds, a minute maximum, because you can get a lot of information out in a minute. And mediumship is quick and fast. So when you're standing up on a platform working, and you can even stand in your room when we're splitting you into two if you want, don't close your eyes, because you lower the energy immediately. When you close your eyes, you're actually sending a signal to the brain that you're going to sleep or relax. And that's not what we're going to do. We're going to be up here. We're going to be alert. We're going to have fun. We're going to be in action. So the first thing I do is, and that's just personal for me, you have to find your own unique way. I always start with a relationship, because if I say I have a lady here, everybody have a lady in the spirit world. If I say I have a mom here, I maybe exclude 3 parts of the audience, and it's easy to establish who I am with immediately, or quicker, so to speak. And I only make 2-3 more sentences about the lady. If I have a mom here, for example, if she died in cancer, a lot of people dies of cancer. Is one of the most I was supposed to say famous, that's not what I mean. One of the most common way to go, or with a heart. So if I say she has cancer, I try to figure out where it is. But because I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I haven't done my schooling, I'm self-taught in everything, I just go with the experience of people I met and what they have gone through, so to speak. But I always have my senses out for more information about everything I'm saying. And if I get cancer, I want to know more about the disease. I want to know if it goes quick, if it takes a long time, if she dies at home, if she dies at the hospital. Maybe something about the personality and character, or whatever they will impress on my mind. But I want to know who I'm working with, because it makes me feel secure. Not everybody does that. Some people prefer to don't know who they're working with, because then their mind is not interfering with them. For me, it's the opposite. If I don't know who I'm working with, my mind is searching through the whole contact. Who are you? Who are you? And the more I'm trying to find out who they are, the more insecure I will be. So I will probably never get the relationship. So I start immediately with a relationship, and I have that out of the way. And if it's not right, I change it. No big deal, you know? But what I know is, if I get the impression on my mind of a mom, and they can't understand a mom with maybe breast cancer, and she went through chemotherapy, she got healthy, and then it came back and it went rapidly. If they don't understand it on a mom, I know I got mom for a reason. Then I have to go up and find out, who do I have with me speaking about the mom? Or is it someone who has been like a mom for someone? And now I said this before, the more we get into that procedure, the easier it is. I always establish my contact very quickly if I don't have 2 with the same history. But that makes it fun for me, because then I jump back and forth a little while, and it also makes it interesting for the audience. Because what we have to remember when you're doing platform work, and some of you might say, I'm never going to do platform work. Well, I was never going to be a medium. I was never going to work as a medium. But my soul and my spirit and my team had other plans for me. So never say never. Never say never. You never know what the journey will take you. So when I'm working, I try to establish it as soon as possible. If they don't understand the information, I don't put more information on there. Same in private sitting. I go back and sort out the pieces of information I have. And in the beginning, I was actually, when I started professionally to work as a medium, I was actually going direct to who I wanted to go to in the audience. I never do that today, even if I know who I'm going to go to. It makes it more interesting for the audience. They're keeping the ears open to see, oh, it might be my mom. It might be my mom. So you keep the audience more alert as well. And that always helps you. And back in time when I was an insecure medium and I never trusted my information, I went directly, as I said, the first maybe 10 years I was working. But because I was insecure, I dropped down and worked psychically very quickly. As soon as I had the first pieces of information, of evidence, and I pointed where I was going to go. And as soon as I established, it was like, oh God, I was right. I ended up right and blah, 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 you know. And then I started very quickly talking about the person instead, like going into the message very quickly or talking about their life. And I didn't realize that in the beginning because I thought that was mediumship until I learned what mediumship is. So I had a bad mentor in the beginning, you could say. So today, even if I don't point, even if I know where I'm going, I let the evidence speak for itself because it stretches me all the time and it stops me being a lazy medium, if you understand. And I believe very strongly that it's very easy to get into your comfort zone because of your insecurities. And I will never allow myself to go there again because I did it for so a long time. And the audience also, they get quite bored quite quickly. So the ideal is about 8 minutes work when you're standing on a platform. And after that, I go, come on, can you bring another one in? Because everyone wants a contact more or less. So the time frame is quite important. Rather do 5-6 minutes than 15-20 minutes. And by my own experience as well, if you are not quick, have humor, you can make a joke in between and not be too serious and forget everything and just focus on the energy of the spirit. We should do that. But when we're working with it, we also have to capture them. Otherwise they get bored. And I don't know how many mediums I've seen working, and they can be very good, but I'm falling asleep after 3-4 minutes because they might not have the voice, you know, they're talking in the same voice all the time and they have the same, ups and downs and the same information is coming from. Do you know you hear what I'm saying? It gets boring. And also, if it takes too long time, it feels like the medium doesn't know what it's doing. If you have to think about it, you know, it's like the scratching, the information is not coming. So please think about keeping your mouth going, you know, talk, even if it's just nonsense, because after a while, the inspiration will kick in and you will be in that flow. But today, I don't want you to take yourself too serious. I actually want you to have fun with it, play with it, you know, make a joke while you're working with it and experiment with it, you know, instead of being correct and right. And I know that's hard to say. Even me, after 30 years, has problems with that. You know, I want to be correct. I want to be right. And you have to learn to loosen up with it. So it's a good practice when you're coming together, when you're not in front of a real audience, that you're actually supporting each other and you can joke amongst each other, you know, and make it a fun experience. And believe you me, I've seen a medium once. He had a very bad night. I've never seen some being so wrong with all his information. And I loved him because I laughed so hard that evening. He was so funny. He had charisma, you know, he made a joke on himself, you know, and everybody forget that the evidence wasn't really there. But I enjoy my evening. And that's what people want to do. They want to enjoy their evening. By saying that, I don't mean that you should escape from the evidence. Of course, you should look into the evidence, but don't forget that it is an audience. You're supposed to entertain them, really, because that's what people expect. So for the ones who doesn't have the contact, like I say, that they get bored very quickly if you're not funny, if you're not making a joke here and there, or tell them something, how you're working or whatever, you know. Make it interesting and you will never go wrong, even if you're a bad medium up there. Sorry. There's nothing worse when you've been listening to a medium for 15-20 minutes and they have a good link, so they're afraid to move on to the next context. So they're saying, and before I'm leaving you, and another sentence and another 2 minutes coming. I'm not going to leave you, but before I leave you, and to say another couple of things. And you're sitting there, for God's sake, move on, you know. I'm really honest here. And we can pretend we are so spiritual and nice and have so much patience and all that. But, you know, we are human beings as well. And you're working towards human beings. So love and light doesn't work all the time because people are not nice all the time either. They want what they want, you know. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're doing on the platform instead of one-to-one, where you can take the time and the recipient know you are there for them. Then it's always interesting for them. They could sit there for 2 hours And that's probably why some of you making too long sittings, because you feel that you haven't given them enough, because you feel that they want more. But when you're working for an audience, you're working for the whole audience, even if you are doing it for one person.